how to build an easy and amazing guardian farm in Minecraft. These are the resources you will need for this farm. So anyways guys, right here we have the guardian farm, and the reason why this guardian farm is so good is that we have trident killers down here killing the guardians as they spawn. And of course the items they will drop and the XP is sent up to this tunnel into your AFK room, which is on top of here, and the items are sent into this chest. And the reason why this farm is so good is because the guardian mob cap will never be filled up because the guardians die so quickly, which allows for new guardians to spawn instantly. And this of course makes the farm extremely powerful. Now just from a little bit of testing, I got to level 30 after 2 minutes and 47 seconds, and once I've turned on the farm I ended up getting another 5 levels while just waiting for the XP that was down in the killing chambers to come up here. This means that from roughly 2 minutes and 46 seconds of AFKing I got to level 35, which is pretty good. And from the same time of AFKing I also ended up getting this amount of resources. Anyways, now that you've seen the farm and kind of gotten a rough explanation of why you should really build this, let's head into actually building it. Okay, so the first step to this farm is to locate yourself an ocean monument, which I have right here. And then the first step to this farm once you've done that is very crucial, and that is that you will need to grab yourself an empty locator map, open it while standing on top of the temple, and then you will need to head to the northwestern part of this temple because we're going to need to start building the farm there. Now the northwestern part of this temple is pretty much the top left of the temple. So this means that we need a little character looking north, which is this direction, and then we need to head to the top left corner, which is pretty much right here. So anyways, once you've done that, you will need to head into the water down towards the temple, and then you will have to count yourself 3 blocks diagonally in. So 1, 2, 3. Then from this block you will have to break yourself down until you see the ground. Then you will have to build yourself up using solid blocks until you get to the ocean floor. And then once you've gotten up here, build yourself 1 block higher up, and then you can also place yourself a slab on top of this block. Then once you've done this, you will need to choose one direction, which is either that way or that way, and then you will have to build yourself 11 blocks going outwards but 3 blocks down into the water. So what you will have to do is pretty much go 3 blocks down, so 1, 2, 3. Then from this block build yourself 11 blocks going outwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then once I've gotten to this block, you will have to build yourself 2 blocks going upwards, then place a slab on top of that block, and then you will have to go 16 more blocks going outwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, build yourself 2 blocks going upwards like this, and slab on top of course, and then head back down and then build yourself 16 more blocks going outwards the same way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, build 2 blocks going upwards, slab on top of here, and then once you've done that, you will need to build yourself 10 more blocks going outwards, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, build yourself 2 blocks going upwards, slab on top of here, and now if we go under this block and dig straight down, we should reach the end of this temple the same way we did at the front. So from this block that's right under the end of the pillar thing we built going outwards, we should reach 3 blocks diagonally in from the corner, and we have done that, and if that happens, then you've done this correctly. So anyways, what you will have to do now is head back to the front right here, and then you will have to build the same thing we did right here but going this way instead. So this pretty much means that we will need to stand right here and then build ourselves 11 blocks going outwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2 blocks upwards, then a slab on top, then 16 blocks and 16 again, and then 10. And now that I've built the first row of 11, 2 rows of 16, let's end off with a row of 10s. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Build upwards 2 blocks, and then we will of course have to go down here and make sure we have built this correctly. So we're 3 blocks diagonal in from the corner, which is correct. So anyways, once I've done this, what we'll have to do now is pretty much copy all of these pillars right here on top of here. So from this block we have right here, you will have to build pretty much the same thing we did right here, but going out here. So this means you will have to go firstly 11 blocks going outwards and 2 blocks going upwards, then 16, 16 again, and then 10. So anyways, then do that, and yeah.
A few moments later.
Alright, so once I built all the pillars, you should have something that looks like this. So anyways, the next step now is going to be a bit tedious and perhaps a bit annoying, but it is very important and very necessary. So if you remember to the beginning of the farm, we built ourselves a pillar right here, and you will have to do the same thing under the rest of these blocks. So to give you a quick example, right here we have these blocks going up from the water, we'll have to head right under it and then build ourselves down into the temple. And once we reach the top of the temple, you will have to break yourself into it until we reach kind of the ground level of the ocean, which will either be stone, gravel, or sand or something like that, and then you will have to build yourself blocks going upwards. And to show you again, we will have to do the same over here. Let's build ourselves blocks going downwards, then we'll be right before we reach the temple, we'll have to break ourselves into here until we reach the ground level, then fill in that with blocks. And we're doing this of course to block out any spawning points. So anyways, then do the same on the rest of these pillars, and yeah. Alright guys, so now I've finished the last few pillars, and as you can see there are not that many guardians left, but there are a few, and this is of course because they spawned before we blocked off the spawn points. Alright, so now all the guardians are gone, which will make building this a lot easier. here. So what we will have to do now is head back up to the original corner we started building this farm in, which is the northwest corner, which is right there because I remember it because of the train. But if you don't remember which corner it is, you can simply open your map and then head to the northwestern corner or the top left corner. And then once you're here, what you will have to do is head under the block rows we have right here and then place ice under these ones. And then you can destroy the original blocks we have right here, like that. Then you will have to turn 180 degrees around and do the same on this side, but we have no blocks right here, so we'll just have to place ice on the same level, pretty much like this. Then once I've done this, you will need to cover in the first ice we placed with the blocks, pretty much on just each side, so place yourself a row of walls going all around the ice. Then you will also have to remove the water we have inside here, which you can do manually or by simply placing a sponge right here, like that. And then once I've done that, we're gonna have to head into the corners right here because we will need to expand the ice going one more out. So what you will have to do is destroy these blocks right here, build the ice one more out, and then obviously expand the wall going around this by one more. And you will have some more water to remove, then do the same on the other side. So you can pretty much just break down these blocks until you reach the ice, expand the ice by one more going outwards. So what should happen now is pretty much the block pillars we built right here should be under the ice, and this is very important. And of course then finish off the walls around there. Alright, so what we will have to do now is get started on the trident killers that will obviously kill the guardians and then send the items up to us. So to do that, we're going to look at the temple from the north side, and then we're going to head into this room we built right here, and then going from the right side, we're going to count 3 blocks to the left, 1, 2, 3, then place yourself a trapdoor right here. Then once you've done that, you will need to place yourself in blocks in a V shape like this, then one more block right here, then destroy these 2 blocks and replace that block you placed with a piston, like this. And then once you've done that, you will need to place yourself a block on top of this piston, and then you will have to place yourself a repeater going out from this block, turn this onto 4 tick by tapping on it 3 times, then place yourself a block going out from this redstone repeater, then place yourself a redstone torch on top of this block, and then the redstone dust to the left of that redstone torch. And now this redstone dust should be powered on. So anyways, what you will have to do now is break the block that's under the block that has the redstone dust on it, this block right here, and then replace it with a piston. And once you've done that, the piston will be extended. So what you will have to do now is head behind her and then waterlock this piston. So anyways, once I've done this, you will need to place yourself 2 blocks right here, destroy the bottom one, and then you will have to place yourself 2 glass blocks right here. So pretty much one in front of this piston once it is extended, and one on top of the trapdoor. And then once you've done that, you will have to throw yourself some tridents on top of this piston. Now to briefly say, you can just use 1 trident if you want to. However, I would recommend you have maybe 2, 3, or maybe even 4 if you have the opportunity to use that many. And this is of course because having more tridents will kill the guardians quicker, which will of course allow for more to spawn. So I'm going to throw 3 simply because I think that's more than enough. And also if you have problems getting this many tridents, because we're going to need quite a few, what you can do is simply check out the trident farm I made, which I'll leave a link to down below. And then once I've done this, you will need to do the same on the other side. So simply head to the other side and then count 3 blocks to the right, 1, 2, 3, then place yourself a trapdoor right here, then head behind there and place yourself a V block shape like this, block in the middle, head in front, destroy these 2 blocks, then place yourself a piston right here, then place a block on top of this piston, then place yourself a redstone repeater going out from this block and then flick it onto 4 tick, then place a block going out from that repeater like this with then the redstone torch on front of that block, then the redstone dust to the right of it. Then simply head down here, break this block, replace it with a piston, head behind it, and then of course waterlock this piston. Then once you've done that, you can simply throw yourself more tridents on top of this piston right here. I'm going to throw 3 like the other side, then I'm going to place myself a block right here, and then 2 glass blocks right here. And then what we will have to do once we've done that is simply expand the blocks we have right here by 2 more going outwards, then the third one should be a slab, then 3 normal blocks right here, and then you should link up this using redstone, pretty much like this. So anyways, once I've done this, you will need to build pretty much exactly the same thing over here at the ice right here. So the first step of course is to expand the ice by 1 more block going outwards, then build yourself a wall all around this. Do the same on this side, expand the ice by 1 more going outwards, you can destroy these blocks, and then of course build yourself the wall going all around the ice. Then once you've done this, of course place yourself a sponge inside there to remove the water or remove it manually, and then simply rebuild the trident killers right here. So now I'm going to show how to do that again, just make this as easy as possible to follow along with. But of course if you have memorized how to build this, you can simply just build them and then skip forward. So anyways, the first step is to place yourself a trapdoor 3 blocks going inwards, then place yourself 3 blocks in a V shape like this, fill in the V shape, and in front right here destroy these 2 blocks, place a piston right here, place a block on top of that piston with then a repeater going out from this block, turn this onto 4 tick, place a block in front of that repeater, redstone torch right here, redstone dust right here, and then a trusty old piston right here. Boom, that should be powered on. Waterlock that piston, and then throw yourself 3 more tridents on top of this piston of course, or even just 1, that's more than enough. Place yourself a block right here, then 2 glass blocks right here. Do the same on this side.
A few moments later.
And then you can of course link up these 2 trident killers with more redstone dust, pretty much like this. Alright, so now we're pretty much done with the spawning chambers or killing chambers, or I guess both, and what we will have to do now is link up these 2 together. But before we do that, I'm going to place myself 2 water sources right here, so 1 in front of each of the trapdoors, and these will link up roughly in the middle right here. Then you can of course do the same on the other side. like that. And this is how we're going to transport the items that will drop from the guardians and the XP, well, towards you. So what you will have to do now is head back here to the first one of these you built, and you will actually have to break out the slab we placed with the redstone on top of it, and then you will have to build yourself a tunnel connecting up with the other trident killers. Pretty much like this, and this will of course allow for some water to flow into the room, but that's all fine. And then you will also have to build a road using ice, pretty much like this. And then once you've done this, you can also of course remove all this water using sponges, but I accidentally removed the water right here, so we'll just have to replace that. But luckily there is plenty of water around you to do that. So anyways, then head over here and break out these 2 blocks, and now if you throw any items into here, what should happen is that they're pushed towards the middle. Alright, so now that we're done with the killing chambers, what we will have to do now is obviously build a water elevator that will send the items and the XP up to you. So what we're going to do is head roughly in the middle right here. Now there is no middle right here, there are just these 2 blocks, so you will have to pick one of them for the items to go up in. So what you will have to do is select one of these blocks you want your items sent to, and then you will have to place yourself a button to the left and to the right of that block. And then what you will have to do is replace this block with a soul sand, and once you've done that, build yourself 2 glass blocks right here, so pretty much one on top of each of the buttons. And then once you've done that, you will need to expand this glass blocks by 23 more going upwards. So what you will have to do is pretty much place yourself glass right here, and then once you've done this, 22 more going upwards. So pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Alright, so once we have done this, what we will have to do now is fill in all of this with water sources. Now I know this can be quite an annoying task, so I'm going to show you the best way to do that. So what I would recommend you do is place a water source at top right here, simply jump back down there, and then replace the soul sand we have inside here with a dirt block. And of course I would recommend you get into this room, and then simply place yourself kelp on top of this dirt block, and what this will happen is turn all its water sources into solid water sources. So once you've done that, what we can do now is head back down there, and then we can simply break ourselves into this room. Be careful that you don't break any redstone like this, and then we can simply destroy the kelp, and of course destroy this dirt and replace it with a solid sand. And what should happen now is that we're pushed upwards, because all this is turned into solid water sources. Anyways, once that have happened, what we will have to do now is figure out which side of this farm we want to build a collecting system on. So I'm going to build it on this side simply because why not, but it really doesn't matter too much. So what you will have to do to get started on the system is go from the top glass block we have right here, then build yourself 3 blocks going downwards, 1, 2, 3, then place yourself a row of 4 blocks going outwards from the 3rd block, and then to the left of these blocks, or to the right I mean, place yourself out 4 double chests, pretty much like this. Then you can destroy these blocks, place yourself hoppers going into those chests, and then once I've done that, you can place another layer of hoppers and chests on top of those hoppers and chests, pretty much like this. And then once you've done that, you will need to place yourself some glass to the left of these hoppers and to the right of these hoppers, or pretty much above the chests. Then you will of course have to expand this glass by 1 more going outwards on the left side, and then place a button right here. And what we can do now is destroy this glass block right here, and water should flow outwards. And this is pretty much how we're going to transport the XP up to you, because you will be standing AFK right here, and of course the items that will then be sent into this chest. So what you can do now is simply build yourself a small AFK platform, or just a platform to stand on like this, and you will also have to build a roof above here to make sure the items don't get sent up to the sky. So to do that, I would recommend you expand the glass by 1 more going up right here, then build a small roof right here like this, and then pretty much above all the hoppers, simply just keep the glass 1 block above the water, like this. So anyways, what I'm going to do now is get started on the system that will turn the farm on and off, and obviously we're going to have that up here. So to build that, you're going to need to place yourself a block to the left of this last hopper we have right here, then place yourself a lever on top of this block, and you should be able to access this lever by standing right here. So anyways, once I've done this, what you will have to do is place yourself a temporary block right after this block, like this. And for the temporary blocks I'm going to be using here, I'm going to be using red concrete just to make it easier to follow it. Then you're going to have to build yourself a glass block to the left of this concrete and under it. Then you can destroy this temporary block and then replace it with 2 redstone dust. Then under these 2 glass blocks you will have to place 2 more temporary blocks, then 2 more glass blocks going downwards, then 1 more temporary block right here, then 1 more glass block going under from that, and then you can destroy these temporary blocks. So now you should have a total of 5 glass blocks right here. Then you can of course place redstone on top of the last 3. Then what you will have to do is place yourself a temporary block under the last glass block we placed. Then you will have to place a glass block under that temporary block, and then a solid block to the left and to the right of that block, and then you can of course destroy the temporary block. Then you will have to stand inside this room and then place a repeater looking towards this block right here, like this. And you will of course need to place yourself a redstone dust on top of this block. Then you will need to place yourself a temporary block under this glass block, then place glass going all around it, like this, destroy the block, then fill in this with redstone. Then going from the right side right here, place yourself another 2 temporary blocks right here, then 2 glass blocks, 2 more temporary blocks, 2 glass blocks, 2 more temporary blocks, like that, and 2 more glass blocks, then 2 more glass blocks, and then 2 more glass blocks, and then 2 final ones, and then 1 glass block, like that. And what you can do now is pretty much just destroy all these temporary blocks, pretty much like this, and then of course fill these in with redstone. And also make sure these are glass blocks, and this is of course because redstone can travel through glass blocks because they're only counted as half blocks. So it's very important that you use glass blocks right here. And also one quick thing I want to say is that I just realized I built this water tunnel 1 block too high, because this block should be 2 blocks out from here, but it's just 1 block, so it's not too much of a problem. So don't worry about that. But if you build this 23 blocks going upwards, what should happen is that there should be 2 blocks here instead. So I'm gonna quickly fix this, and yeah. Alright, so I just rebuilt all this 1 block lower down, and as you can see, what should happen now is that we should have 2 blocks right here. However, to briefly say, if you build this exactly like how I am, but you don't have that, you might have done a small mistake, but don't worry, as that is not too crucial, and the farm will still work 100% the same even if you have done something wrongly, such as if you build this 1 block too high, but I just wanted to fix it for the sake of this tutorial. So anyways, what you will have to do now is place yourself 1 block under this glass, and then place yourself a temporary block on top of this glass block, then place a solid block to the left of it and to the right of it, and then destroy that solid block. Then what you will have to do is place yourself a redstone repeater right here, redstone torch right here, and then a redstone dust inside here, and this will be turned on and off constantly. And then what you will have to do is place yourself another redstone dust right here, another redstone we have right here should flick on and off until you get up to the repeater. So what you can do now is simply head on top of here, and if you flick this lever, this will stop, and the redstone torch will be powered off, and the redstone will be powered on. So yeah, now the farm is actually fully done, and all we need to do now is really just one more step, and that is to link up all the redstone we have right here to this redstone torch. So to do that, I'm gonna place myself some blocks right here, then fill in this with redstone, boom, and now this is linked up with the redstone torch, and now I will have to do the same over here. So what I'm gonna do is place myself a slab right here, then simply link up the redstone all the way over here, another slab right here, then the redstone right here. So yeah, now the farm is fully done, and what we can do is head back up here, turn on the farm, and now we will get a bunch of XP and guardian drops. But before we turn on the farm, I have a quick thing I would highly recommend you do. Now if you turn on the farm while just holding your hand or something like that, you will get a normal amount of drops, which is boring. So to make this farm even better, what we're going to do is grab yourself an anvil, a sword, put looting on that sword, ideally looting 3, and then if you turn on the farm or on this lever by holding a looting 3 sword or a sword that has looting 3 on it, you will add the looting 3 effect to all the tridents, which will give you a chance of getting up to 3 times the amount of resources from this farm, which is of course extremely good. Alright guys, so I have my looting 3 sword, and I just reset my levels, so as you can see I'm level 0. So what I want to try to do now is show you how quickly you can get to level 30, and in addition to that, what kind of resources you will get from this farm. So what we can do now is simply flick on this lever, and then water should be extended into the rooms, and as you can see, guardians are already spawning. So what we can do now is pretty much just stand on top of here, and I've started a timer on my phone right now, and let's see how long it takes to get to level 30. So of course we will have to wait a bit, but as you can see, items are already being sent up here, and if we look into the chest, items will be sent into this chest. So as you can see, we're getting prismarine shards, crystals, and of course raw cod. And if we just wait a little bit more, as you can see, XP is starting coming up here, and now once we're getting XP, we will just keep collecting XP forever pretty much. And one really great thing about this farm is that, as you can see in the tunnel in my screen, XP is constantly being shot up, which means that you will never stop getting XP. And this is why this farm is so good compared to other farms, because in a lot of other farms where they use 4 spawn points, like for example I have done, they will have the guardians sent up to you, and then they're killing a trident killer right next to you instead of down below under the water, which for example means that the mob cap might be filled up, which means that not many guardians will be able to spawn before the new ones are dead. And this will of course slow down the farm and make the farm quite a lot slower, but by building this design instead, what you will see that the guardians are killed instantly, which is allowing new guardians to spawn pretty much instantly. And this is of course because the mob cap is not being capped, and the temple will recognize that there are no guardians in the farm or in the temple, which will then spawn new ones, if that makes sense. And this will pretty much just keep happening until more and more guardians are spawning and more are dying. And as you can see, while I've just been talking, I've already gotten to level 20, and it's been exactly 1 minute and 30 seconds right now. So as you can see, I'm already level 25, and it's been exactly 2 minutes right now. So I'm probably going to hit level 30 in roughly 2.5 minutes, which is extremely good.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so I just got to level 30, and I just stopped my timer, and it's been exactly 2 minutes and roughly 46 seconds. But I got to level 30 after almost 3 minutes, which is pretty good. So this means that if you have a bunch of new gear you want to enchant, what you could do is just stand AFK on top of here while having a shower, and once you're back you will probably be able to enchant all of your gear. And of course, to turn off this farm we can simply flick this lever again. Now because the XP is still traveling upwards, what you will have to do is wait a little minute before you can obviously go out of here. If not, the XP will just fly off. It doesn't really matter too much, but obviously you want to collect as much XP as possible. So yeah, anyways, that is pretty much it for this one, and as you can see, just from 2 minutes and 47 seconds of AFK we got to level 30, and of course once we stopped the farm we ended up getting another 4 levels, which is pretty cool. And if we look into this chest, we ended up getting 2 stacks of prismarine shards, 1.5 stack of prismarine crystals, and a little over 1 stack of raw cod from just about 2 minutes and 46 seconds of AFKing, which is pretty good. So anyways, that is it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions about how this works or anything like that, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll try to answer your questions as quickly as possible. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.